Ryan here from Noel Jones. Here we have Mr. Glenn from the Loan Room, who's here to share a little bit of an insight of what we're seeing in the financial sector with the crazy time that we've got in the world at the moment. So thanks for coming in, Glenn.
Pleasure, thanks for having me.
Normally we shake hands, but not at these times. Making sure we're 1.5 meters apart as well. So really just wanted to get some information out there. There's a lot of questions that have been popping up with clients that I've been meeting about what's happening with the banks, lending, how long is it taking for a pre-approval to be coming through. So just was hoping, you can run through and we can answer the question for many people out there.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess firstly in relation to are banks still lending money is probably the most important side of things when it comes to purchasing property and the like. One of the interesting things whilst working from home is that I've had the opportunity to be part of a whole heap of webinars. So a lot of the banks, their relationship managers are all putting aside webinars at the moment for us mortgage brokers, just to get a bit of an understanding as to where they stand. And the common theme is definitely they're still open for business. So yeah, absolutely. As long as you are from an income side of things unchanged, still working, still employed, still bringing in income into your family, absolutely the banks are open for business.
Beautiful. Have we seen, obviously rates, they're at an all-time low. Has it impacted rates at all?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, as you point out, rates are certainly at an all-time low. We've got some really sharp rates at the moment, as low as 2.09%. Investment loans, that's for owner-occupied. Investors are under 3% as well, which is just crazy when you think of what yields are available. There's some really good opportunities there as well.
Yeah, a bit more stable too. I've been watching the stock market over the last, during this time too, and it's a bit of a yo-yo at the moment. So yeah, it might be an opportunity for some people. Last weekend I was out with a couple who they pulled all their money out of the share market. Now they're trying to invest it into property just to have some stability.
Yeah, so exactly right.
Probably a good time for them to be securing that investment loan.
Yep, definitely right. As I said, banks are still open. There are a couple of extra questions that they do ask, just in terms of the responsible lending side of things, just around people's employment and so on. But yeah, absolutely, as I say, the message is open for business.
So with some of the obviously industries that have been really severely impacted, who have you seen mostly that the banks are trying to steer away from? Or
yeah, and it does vary a little bit from bank to bank. Some having said what I've said about being open to business, some are a lot more cautious than others. But in the general, if you look at the whole context, absolutely they are still lending. What they are cautious on in terms of I guess maybe someone perhaps in the retail hospitality industry, perhaps an example of a pilot who is probably not going to be working as much as what they were previously. They may find it difficult. Having said that, depending on how much reliance there is on the pilot's wage, maybe a partner within the application is still working and can support it through their
savings. There's obviously so many different factors.
Correct. Yeah, exactly right. Loan to value ratios come into it a little bit. If clients are prepared to chip in a little bit, and that LVR does come down, then absolutely changes are a little bit more.
One thing I wanted to highlight as well, it's interesting, I've been meeting quite a lot of people who have been doing those online calculators to work out how much they can borrow. Or just, a quick approval where they put in their income, a rough estimate of their outgoings, and then it spits out, you can go and spend this much on a property. Can you share a little bit about the inside of that and some of the dangers and pitfalls?
Yeah, my heart cringes to be honest.
Mine too.
When people get these little online approvals, they go into a branch without even supplying any paperwork, savings statements, identification, all that sort of stuff. The lender at the branch plugs in a couple of figures and spits out an approval. And especially in these times, they're not worth the paper that they're written on. One of the benefits of going through a mortgage broker is that we know which banks are doing fully assessed pre-approvals. And by that I mean that an assessor is actually picking up your file. It's not a computer system that's checking a few check boxes kind of thing. An assessor will look at it, check your employment situation given the current circumstances, what your savings are. They'll do a credit report check on you, and they will issue you with a proper pre-approval. So whilst you may have an approval and you may be good for an approval from the bank, it's not by any means a certain approval when you get those online ones or soft
Or
ones.
just popping into a bank and they.
Correct.
So I guess one way to highlight it, what is a normal turnaround time for a proper approval or pre-approval from the
Yeah,
bank?
it varies from bank to bank. So we have a couple of banks that are sort of around about 3 to 4 weeks at
Yep.
the moment. They've had some promotions lately. They've been a little bit more cautious around what's going on. So once you lodge the application, you can expect to wait quite a few weeks
Yeah,
for an assessor to pick it up, look at it, and issue you with an approval.
and actually comb through it all.
Correct. On the flip side, we do have a couple of lenders that have got that back end process right.
Yep.
And they're looking at around about 48 hours.
Okay.
So they are doing fully assessed pre-approvals as well, which is important.
Yep.
So as a best case scenario, you'd probably be looking at around about 48 hours. Certainly not something that you would go
Straight there.
to
So
the
that's-
side and straight away.
Probably a good thing to look out for, guys. If you have just got something that's been pretty instant, I'd just be questioning it a little bit further. And if you haven't spoken to a broker, by all means, I'll put Glenn's details up on the page. He's happy to just have a chat, point you in the right direction. He's been helping a number of clients and friends of mine personally as well. So, yeah, it is difficult times out there, but we have seen, obviously, with opens and things coming back, we're starting to get a fair bit of interaction out there. So if you've been holding back a little bit, it might be a good time to get in touch now and start planning. So get in touch with Glenn or myself if you've got some property questions. We'd love to be of assistance.